Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today we are going to be talking about the September month reading, and this is going to be a very interesting month. Difficult month as well, because we are going to be facing two eclipses, which is the lunar eclipse coming on around 7th of September, and then around 21st, 22nd of September we will find the solar eclipse coming as well. Now the lunar eclipse will be falling when moon comes in conjunction with Rahu in the sign of Aquarius, while the solar eclipse will come in place when moon will be conjunct with sun in the sign of Virgo around 21st of September. And both of these eclipses will be extremely crucial because they are going to be defining the way we are going to be approaching things. The lunar eclipse is going to be eclipsing our thought process, our decision making, our belief system, because Rahu is going to cast that shadow in your decision making as well. And depending on where this eclipse is happening in your chart, you will be affected accordingly. Whilst solar eclipse is going to be happening again with the conjunction of moon with sun, when moon is going to essentially eclipse over the sun, he is going to be falling right between the earth and the sun. But again, you will have to understand that this is going to be a partial solar eclipse, which is going to be happening in different parts of the world. Depending on what part of the world you are going to be watching this video from, you will have a respective impact as well as based on your zodiac signs. So without further ado, what we are going to do now, we are going to look into some of the important dates that are going to be coming into picture in terms of transit and understand what's going to be meaning it for us. Now, guys, as you can see on your screen here, that Sun is currently in the sign of Leo until 15th of September. And then for the second half of the month, it is going to be transiting into the sign of Virgo. Now, Sun has been in its own Leo sign, but imagine it has been in difficult situation with its conjunction, with its collaboration with Ketu in the same house so far. Then Mercury is in Leo until 14th of September, and almost a day ahead it will advance into its sign of exaltation in the sign of Virgo from 15th of September onwards. So predominantly both Sun and Mercury are going to be remaining in the first half of the month in your Leo sign, and then they will together transit a day in difference into the sign of Virgo. Venus is in the sign of Cancer until September 14th, and it is going to come into the sign of Leo, where it will become conjunct with Ketu from September 14th onwards. Now, that is going to be very crucial, and we are going to analyze as to what sort of an impact we can anticipate there. Mars is in the sign of Virgo. It is there until September 12th, and from 13th onwards, it is going to be moving into the sign of Libra. Jupiter continues its presence in the sign of Gemini itself in Chatra. So that is a good bit that is happening there. And it is going to be in the sign of Gemini for the month of September. Remember, October is the time when it is going to be moving into its sign of exaltation. Saturn is continuing in its motion of retrogression, and it is in Pisces in Uttara Nakshatra. And the most important thing, guys, you have to understand here is that Saturn will be coming into deepest retrogression because it will be bang opposite to Sun as well from the second half of the month. So it will be getting into its deepest retrogression during the month of September, and that is where its impact becomes extremely crucial for all of us. Lots of things happening. Saturn getting into deep retrogression, two eclipses as I was addressing before, and then Rahu is in Purva Chatra of Jupiter itself in the sign of Aquarius, while it is coming out, in degrees. So it is coming out of its Bal Avastha. It is going to get a lot more strength in its itself. But the lunar eclipse is where it is going to cast its magic, and you have to be very sharp, shrewd in terms of understanding what sort of a impact it will have for you. And then Ketu, of course, is sitting in Pur Falguni nakshatra itself of Leo of Venus, which is where he will be becoming conjunct with Venus. So, guys, without further ado, we will now deep dive into your monthly reading and understand that what these transits are going to be impacting and how they are going to be impacting you for the course of the month. So, Geminis, as you guys can see on your screen here, you have Jupiter in your Lagna, one of the best blessings that we can anticipate when the all zodiac signs are struggling thanks to the two eclipses happening in the month of September. So it's a great thing to be in. Then you have multiple planets in your second, third, and fourth house, respectively. You have a Rahu in your ninth house, which is where your lunar eclipse will happen. Saturn getting into deep retrogression. We'll touch upon that in your 10th house. And your fourth house is where you will see the solar eclipse coming into picture. So let's start with the eclipse discussion, which is going to happen on 7th of September in the first 15 days itself, and we will break it down from there. So 7th of September is where your second lord moon is going to get eclipsed thanks to its conjunction with Rahu. And between 6th, 7th till 8th, 9th, 10th of September is when I would want you to be extremely careful in this regard. Why do I say that? See, it's your second house lord which is coming into eclipse, and that is where matters related to your family, your savings, your money, they will all come under the jurisdiction. The kind of food you consume, the kind of harmony that we are talking about, there is a lack of harmony definitely coming into picture because the eclipse is to your second lord and later in your fourth house as well. So that is something you should be navigating very carefully. When moon comes under the eclipse in the ninth house, what you will realize is that Rahu, which is gaining in degrees, it has come out of his Bal Avastha and now getting more strength, which means being trine to your first house. If you're watching this from a Gemini moon standpoint, from your Rashi or from your ascendant itself, it is trine with Jupiter. It will become trine with Mars as well later in the second half of the month. This Rahu is going to bring a lot of illusions, confusion, some degree of sense of fear as well, and the deepest impact will come to your family. The deepest impact can come to your savings, or it could also come with respect to your bosses, client, manager, superiors, people who mentor you, your fatherly figure for that matter. So even your decision making with respect to your principles could get in doubt here, or it could get challenged because you will either be facing certain degree of fears, or you will be facing the illusion, the confusion as to what should be the right way forward. If there are initiatives that you plan to embark upon, new initiatives, new projects that you want to embark upon during the course of the month of September, I will request you to refrain from doing that. Let the first 10 days pass away, at least from all those fronts that I'm highlighting, because it is not one of the best periods from that thought process. Now, in a normal situation, I would have said second lord is coming into the ninth house. It's a good Dhan Yoga, but because that eclipse is there, it is going to impact specifically on the Dhan Yoga aspect as well, and also going to give a impact towards the kind of food. Maybe you could get interested in trying something very different, doing something very out of the way, which is not good for you, your family. Food poisoning sort of risk, health related kind of risk to you or your family could come into picture. Mental harmony, emotional harmony could be in turmoil, and this is for everybody because moon at the end of the day is getting afflicted in this situation. You will have to, of course, look into your natal dasha, antar dasha as well to figure out what sort of a stage you are embarking upon, which will give you more clarity. In the first half of the month, you will find that Venus is placed in your second house itself. He is the lord of your 12th and the lord of your fifth house. So fifth lord in the second is not a bad situation, but the lord of expenses, losses, bed pleasure, etc., coming into the second house, 3 places away from itself and 10 places away from itself respectively, means, and that too when the lord of that house is going through eclipse, means that there will be certain repercussions. You will try, your kids are going to take deep priority. You are going to bring your emotional creativity to the picture to make things better for your family members in general, but there will still be that ambiguity, that loss making impact that would come into picture, that could create that dent. So I see that risk definitely coming into picture for you guys, Geminis. This is going to be the same phase when you will notice that in your third house you have the presence of 3 planetary conjunction, which is Sun, Mercury, and Ketu. Now Sun is the lord of the third house. So there is no denying the fact that when it comes to hard work, when it comes to putting your, best foot forward, you are leaving no stone unturned. Travel would be of prominence for you. You would have traveled a lot through the course of the second half of August as well, and that might continue in the first half of September too. But somewhere you will realize that irrespective of all this hard work, irrespective of all this efforts, courage that you are showcasing, it getting its due recognition, it getting its due feedback from, again, from the ninth house perspective, your bosses, your superiors, from your workplace, from your teachers, mentors, gurus, guides, from your clients, is not literally following through. There could also be a situation where you could just feel like giving up because you might feel absolutely demotivated. But remember, because your Lagna Lord or Rashi Lord is Mercury, he's also your fourth Lord. He's currently 12th to itself. And he, from a first position is 3 places away. So travel remains prominent, and you showing enormous amount of courage will also remain prominent. Like, you will not be giving up on situations, but getting the due expect of those efforts, getting the due recognition of those efforts is what will be the most turbulating factor. From here, Ketu is also giving an aspect to your seventh house, ninth house, and your 11th house. So gains are seeing a dent. Your marital relationship, your business partnerships, your collaboration with the external world and people around you, that could be seeing some level of separation, some degree of an impact. And definitely, in a single combination of Sun with Ketu, I would have said that it still gives the possibility of a person reaching height. A malefic planet like Sun being in the third house gives a person a lot of fight within, a lot of courage within to overcome those challenges. But given that this is the month of eclipses, I am not able to speak with confidence that how much of an outcome you will be able to gain out of those efforts. Remember, Mercury is your Lagna Lord and he is your fourth Lord as well. So in the first half of the month, he is standing 12th to itself. So your there could be a risk of depletion of your assets. Any kind of movement required, during this time, away from your home, any kind of property related matters may not be giving you the kind of success that you might be striving for. So be careful on that. Be careful in terms of driving or taking your investments into newer areas. I would highly refrain from any kind of um, new bets when it comes to your property related matters, with respect to your assets, with respect to any kind of major investments, buying new furniture and stuff. Those will be all expenses coming into picture, denting your savings, like I'm saying, with Venus in the 3 places away in the second house, and just creating all the more problems. So try and push that, because your decision making could also be almost like lunatic. I'm sorry for using that sort of a word, but second house lord is going through a turbulence in that phase itself. So it's not at all an easy period to be in. This is the same time when you will find that Mars, which is your lord of gains, sitting in the fourth house. So whilst one would anticipate that there could be possibility of some income, some desire fulfillment coming into picture, he is also your sixth lord. So somewhere or the other, loans, litigations, disputes, obstacles, problems will also bother your mind. You see how all of it is collectively coming together. And trust me, guys, it's not just for Gemini that it is going harsh. The problem is these two eclipses, it is a difficult placement for all of us across the zodiacs. The way it is impacting us is being reflected based on your moon sign or based on your ascendant sign. So you have to understand that what sort of an impact is coming into picture for you. Dev astrology is all about positive discussions, but it is my fiduciary responsibility that when I see some challenging situations as well, I call them out with equal tenacity and intensity. Mars sitting here is giving a fourth aspect to your seventh house, means disputes, argumentative situations, disagreements coming in marriage, distance coming in marriage, or in business relationships for that matter. He is giving an aspect to your Lord of House of Gains as well as your 10th house. So, as I said, you are not going to be leaving any stone unturned. Sun and Mercury are promising that. Your Lagna Lord is promising a lot of effort. You are getting that effort promise from Mars as well, because he's giving an aspect towards the 10th house. But how much of that recognition, how much of that protection you will get against your efforts is something that needs to be questioned and understood deeply. When you move further, you realize that Jupiter is in your first house. He is your seventh and your 10th Lord. And his placement is one of the most satisfying, crucial, critical, impactful placement for you guys, Gemini, is because what he is doing is that he is giving an impact to your seventh house, fifth house, and your ninth house. So all the challenges that you are facing, being trying to Rahu and that eclipse coming into picture, all the problems that I was calling out, to a certain extent, Jupiter is going to try and provide respite. And he being placed in the first house is an absolute blessing. Then I was calling out the problems with respect to your money, with respect to your family, to your spouse, and to your children. There is a guarding aspect of this Jupiter as well. So if you have a strong Jupiter in your natal chart, if your dasha antardasha from a natal chart perspective is running decent, then what you will realize is that some of the negative aspects of these eclipses coming into picture in the September month will get dialed down. So you will have some respite from those angles as well. Now, before we move on to the second half of the month and understand what's happening there, you see, Saturn, which is the lord of your 8th house and 9th house, is placed in the 10th. 8th lord in the 10th house in retrogression, first of all, in retrogression, where the cheshta bal of a planet increases, and that too a malefic planet like Saturn. Now, yes, he's your 9th lord as well, but at the same time, being the 8th lord, there will be sudden disturbances, challenges coming in the work front, coming in your karma. If you are preparing for any kind of competitive examinations, you will have to put your deeper hard work in your education, whatever sphere of life you come from your job front perspective, from your business front perspective. Blessings of Jupiter are there to a certain extent, but that rework behavior, that retrogression requires rework, revisiting, hard work sort of a situation, is definitely gonna be on the rise. Your bosses, superiors, etc., might want you to put a deeper efforts. They might want you to revisit on whatever you are doing, and there could be a sudden transformation, folks, that will only increase. Why do I say increase? Because you see, in the second half of the month onwards is when Sun will be in your fourth house, bang opposite to Saturn. And when that is happening, Saturn is going to be going into its deepest retrogression. So its strength is going to be empowered at a very high level. And when that is happening, what you will realize is that somewhere or the other, all the way till October, there will be a lot of misalignment to your goals, misalignment in terms of your objectives, or it could be just sheer amount of hard work. You could be busy like anything through the course of this period to make things happen in the way people or the world desires. You getting respect of all this hard work, you getting due recognition, is going to be a challenge throughout. Again, why? Because Sun is facing that eclipse. So we'll talk about that as we move into the second half of the month. In the second half of the month, what you see is your 12th lord and your 5th lord Venus is now becoming conjunct with Ketu. He is coming into the third house. Venus's position in the third house is not at all an easy one, guys, because this is a place where, a benefic, soft planet like Venus struggles. He struggles in that conjunction as well. Yes, at least Ketu is in the nakshatra of Venus itself, but when that conjunction is happening, it is straining on the relationships as well. Somewhere additional amount of effort would be required from your side to maintain the harmony within your relationships, and it could be with your siblings as well. There could be a separation, detachment. Sometimes you might just want to feel like giving up on all that you're doing and take a break from everything. Whilst that desire could be high, you actually accomplishing that would be very difficult, because Saturn keeps on making you rework, and then Sun and Mercury will be coming into the fourth house, giving an aspect to the 10th house as well. So dropping the guard, dropping the ball at any point in time is not going to be an option that you will be able to exercise. Remember, the good bit is that there will be some level of distance against all the expenses that you are making. So you would either not care much, or you would now avoid making huge investments, expenses against whatever you wanted to purchase or buy, right? So that could be a good shift as well from that perspective. Now, Mercury, which is your Lagna Lord or Rashi Lord from a moon sign perspective, is going to be coming at sign of exaltation in the fourth house. This is going to be one singular thing which is going to be very relaxing from an emotional aspect, from a family aspect of things. But along with the same positive aspect is coming the difficult bit, that the third lord is moving into the fourth house, your sun, and he gets in conjunction with moon when moon comes between the sun and the earth and causes solar eclipse. So it is going to be happening in your fourth house. And when that eclipse happens around 21st of September, the guarding factor is the exaltation of your Lagna Lord in the fourth house, means that you will be up motivated to face that challenge. You will be up motivated to address any concerns for your family, for your resources, for your knowledge, for your intellect, for your property, for your assets. From all those things, you will be putting up a fight, but you will still see an impact from an eclipse standpoint where, you know, people realizing the kind of inputs that you are giving in, the kind of commitment that you are bringing to the table is not enough. It could also create a situation where you might still put up a strong, bold face, for all your fourth house efforts or from your emotions standpoint, but it will still have a dampening impact on you. And that is where I say that any kind of new asset creation activities, new build up, new projects, new learning could also be put for a halt for some time. It may not be a bad idea for that matter. And this is also the period where Saturn will be going in its deepest retrogression, as I said. So all the way when Sun is in this placement, which is from mid of September till mid of October, it will be a difficult position to be in. And you see, directionally also, Sun is not gaining enough strength superiority here. He loses the Digbala, the directional strength in this placement, and it can bring some egotistical situations through your own emotions with the people around you. So you'll have to be watchful on that front as well. Mars will be moving in the second half from 13th, 14th onwards into your fifth house, which is where you will find that there is going to be an increased level of possessiveness, aggression in you, or heightened energy in terms of your creativity. You will try and find solutions to the problems that you are facing, to all the challenges around you, at your work front, at your family front, at an individual emotional front. There will be a renewed degree of fire in your belly to address those problems with creative solutions. This could also mean that there could be a lot of possessiveness, aggression that you can bring in your relationships, especially if, with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever situations that you are in, or even with your partner. So that can be a tricky bit. This is where Mars will also be becoming trine to Jupiter and Rahu. Let Jupiter win instead of Rahu. So please be driven with spirituality, moral values, right ethics, like a right sense. And it's not going to be easy because your ninth lord is retrograded and in deep retrogression and high chestabal in the 10th house. So, but Saturn in the 10th house, when compared to any other placements, you would still have that ability to fight it out and do well. So that's the silver lining for you guys, Geminis, when compared to any other zodiac signs. And it's been a tough month. I've been calling it out for all zodiac signs. So you might want to keep that in your head. Mars from here will be giving an exalted aspect to your eighth. So you will be motivated towards research, toward discovering something new, towards transformation of whatever way it is happening in your life, towards bed pleasures, towards your in-laws. So there will be heightened interest, joint assets with your spouse as well, and figuring out what can be done. You will be giving a aspect to both your 11th and your 12th house when he is in the fifth and second half. So that means that irrespective of all the problems, you are not going to be giving up, Geminis, because you are looking into your house of wish fulfillment. He is in a fifth house, not in a bad state, but there will be a lot of desires, lot of goal chasing that you might be doing. And this is where you might be open to take significant amount of risks as well, because Mars is giving an aspect. Some of the unknown problems, unknown challenges that could be coming in, Mars will be helping you address those problems in your life as well. So that is a good bit with this place. All in all, folks, Geminis, I have tried to give my best foot forward in terms of providing you that readiness and assessment as to what you should anticipate. It cannot be all a rosy situation all the time, all the months. I know a lot of you will be worried, but the idea is we should not be worried about hitting the rock bottom and then bouncing back, as you will hear all across that eclipses are the sign of new beginnings and stuff. I am here to tell you that how we can proactively at least safeguard ourselves. If there is a prarabdha that we have to go through, there is no solution to it. But if there is some proactive saving that we can do for ourselves, we should prepare for that. Let the world run in a fashion it has been running for you thus while. Do not initiate anything dramatically different or new. And if you are able to sail through this period efficiently, you will find that there will be a lot of positive outcomes also coming for you for the later months. Hold in tight, folks. I hope you've liked and understood the effort that has been made for this month's reading. If you have, then please smash on that like button, subscribe to the Astrology, and keep watching.